Hello, Fearless Gamers, and welcome to another episode of Touching Base here on Fearless Games. Welcome back, Dog! Where'd you come from?
You didn't see him come in?
No.
He came in through the window.
I did.
Oh,
Carefully.
Yeah.
we should replace that.
Oh, well, you know, I don't let him in through doors anymore.
You can't.
Why?
Because that's for people.
Oh, yeah.
Masks make you less person.
Yeah.
Well, no, that mask makes you palatable.
So, how's everybody doing? What's any news going on?
I can't see his hand motions are blocked by your face.
Any news going on?
News,
You look like you have something to show.
Yeah, but clearly he wants to say something.
I was trying to think.
I don't know.
You show your thing. I'll try to think if I got anything.
Okay. So
He wants to show off his iPad.
I want to show off my iPad. Now, came out finally.
If you can't see it, it is the Adaptive Sorority digital codex.
Yep.
He is happy about that.
Well, mixed feelings. Mixed feelings.
Mixed. A little bit of love, a little bit of hate, a little bit of shame.
No shame. Just
There should be shame.
hate. My shame.
Because you use Lady Gaga to make your sister's power.
They really all do look like Lady Gaga.
That
You
is
look
a flaw in the initial design. I blame who made the original pictures? Was that Blanche?
I have no
forget who
idea.
did. Sorry. They clearly Lady Gaga based herself off of Sisters of Battle. I'm just saying it. And she just up as like one for music videos. But my sisters do better when I play Lady Gaga music played on organs while they're playing. Just saying. I don't know why. It doesn't work with like video games.
The fact that he has Lady Gaga music played on organs.
Pipe organs, yeah.
That's why he comes in through the window.
Yeah. It's on YouTube.
Any other news?
Man, I'm trying to think.
He's got nothing today.
Pokemon X and Y was great.
Yeah.
Pokemon.
Super hype.
This is the new Assassin's Creed is coming out.
Yes!
On Tuesday.
Yes, I'm so hyped.
So
that's
before
gonna
this
be great.
video comes out, it'll be out.
I'm gonna play that. Oh god.
I've heard that
I'm
the
gonna have to
pirating.
cancel everything.
I heard the pirating is.
Don't tell me anything.
The pirating.
Don't tell me anything.
No, you're not even gonna play a storyline. You're just gonna go out and pirate.
I'm gonna do both.
No.
Oh man,
You're
I'm
going
gonna
to check with the pirating.
I'm gonna get fired.
I'm actually gonna be holding off on that because I'm gonna be waiting for the buy two get one at Target, and I'm just gonna buy it and then another 2 games.
Judging you.
I don't own a console, so I won't be playing this game anytime soon.
You own a console. I've been to your house. I've seen them.
No.
Yes.
I own a Super Nintendo.
No, you own an Xbox 360, a PS3, a Wii U, and you have pre-orders for the new PS4 and Xbox One. I've seen them.
Oh, I don't wish I had a pre-order for those. They're way too much money.
I've seen them. I see your wish list.
There was the Watch Dogs thing.
Oh yes,
We're
Ubisoft
super
has
late on everything.
Ubisoft has postponed the Watch Dogs release to late first quarter of 2004,
Do we
which
know
is
why?
they said that they need more time to make it good.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And then there's another game that they also pushed back at the same time, but it's hilarious because if you go to Target, it still says release holiday 2013 on the pre-order.
And there was a lot
cards.
of pre-order bundles that were bundled with it, so now it's like, maybe you shouldn't pre-order things that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of pre-ordering in general, personally.
Pre-ordering is a kind of a harmful concept for the games industry, but I can go on about that for days.
What else happened? Dystopian Legions is putting up more pictures of their
Stuff.
Antarctica stuff looking cool.
Yep, and we mentioned the Planetfall stuff too.
Planetfall we mentioned on the podcast. That's ramping up, which is their basically Dystopian Legions, but for Firestorm Armada.
Yep. And we also have a thing that's happening.
We do.
Yes, it's Halloween, so happy Halloween to everybody.
Right, Thursday's Halloween, so spooky, scary.
Woo! I'll have a picture of my jack-o'-lantern up soon because I'm carving it tomorrow.
I failed at the jack-o'-lantern. I did not have time to do one. I did one jack-o'-lantern this year, and it was awesome, but it wasn't 40K related, so I'll try to take a picture of it and put it on the channel.
Yep.
But I couldn't
were we
post the
supposed to
40K
do
one.
it?
No.
Oh, okay.
He just decided he wanted to do one, and I said, you know what, I'm going to do one. So
And I did pull up. I made a really good Nightmare Before Christmas one. People loved it.
Nice.
Just saying, not tooting my own horn, but totally tooting my own horn.
Totally.
I think it was a C.
Hashtag humble brag.
Humble brag indeed. I don't think it was that great, but people liked it. But I'll put a picture up.
Yep. And we have another thing. It's our 2-year anniversary.
No.
Yeah. We've been doing this for 2 years.
Did you get me anything?
No.
Really?
No, you're not
I got
worth it.
I got you a crown.
Good. Because you're
plastic.
supposed to.
Go get it.
Yeah, go get it.
Go get the crown.
Yeah.
Give me this crown. So yeah,
Should we
2
knock 'em out?
years, probably. Oh, too late.
There we go. You can have a crown.
Thanks.
Happy anniversary to both of you. You don't get one.
I don't want one.
I know. That's why you didn't get one.
So yeah,
2 years.
2
with you-
years.
with you monsters.
and it's official because our domain name has been renewed.
Yay. We still have to put something up on there.
Yeah.
Yup.
Yep. We still need to get someone who knows what they're doing to do that.
Yeah.
By the way, if anyone is interested in helping us with web design,
But so we did ask for people to ask us questions so that we could dedicate a whole little episode to answering questions about stuff that you want to know about.
How many questions did we get?
We got about 3, and one of them was specific for him.
that's not terrible.
You're not the favorite anymore.
Nope.
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 Yes.
So
No.
let's start
It's
with
a
that.
fad because of the
Let's-
sisters.
Let's start with
Yes.
the question for him then. Get it out of the way.
Can you pull up the question?
Let's see.
instead
Let
of
me
me
see if
pulling
I
it?
have the. Let's see the question.
I don't remember the exact question, but I did read it over. It was about the Sisters of Battle. Guys put up like a whole quick list up there really fast.
Yep.
It looks solid to me. Have fun with it. But we can take a quick look at it if it's possible.
Let's see.
Technology.
Yes. Huh, I don't know where this question is.
I don't either.
Well, do you remember what the question is?
Yes, it was actually. I should still have the video thing
Again,
up
I believe
here.
it is like he said I made this army. This is the list I'm running at 1500 or something like that.
Yes.
And it's listed a bunch of pretty solid units.
Uh,
I'll put up my review of the Sisters Codex hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I have actually a free day to record.
He's
Just
lying.
3 days. I do. It's amazing. Will I
He's
actually
lying.
record on my free day? Probably not, but I'm gonna try. I might just sleep because I don't get enough of that. But overall, the Sisters Codex is fine. I think his list has a lot of like just nice tight units with transports, lots of shooting, good amount
Here
of
we go.
commanders.
Let's see.
Okay, this is from Battle Sister Nina.
Yep.
So I guess this was a she. I apologize if I said the wrong thing gender-wise. Let's see.
Let's see. Here we go.
HQ, the
This is-
Saint, of course. Troops, 5 squads of 5 girls, 2 flamers each, all in a Rhino, solid. Fast attack, three 5-girl squads with 4 melta-guns, which is exactly what I would run too.
all in immolators.
Yeah, no, that's. If you want to save points, go with the Rhinos, but heck, go with the emulators. Why the heck not? 2 Exorcists, which is what I own and what I run too, and Aegis Defense Line. I see nothing wrong with that with the comm relay. I mean, overall, it looks like a solid list for 1500. You did better than I was gonna do.
In fact, he's gonna run that list now.
Well,
Yeah,
I
he's gonna steal it.
I'm gonna run. Probably one thing I would add to that or mess around with. I love running Seraphim, so I probably put some Seraphim with the Saint. But yeah, I was gonna run something like that anyways, because all I have are sisters with bolt guns and flamers and Dominions. Just play Dominions with lots of melta guns. Just do that. That's the right choice. Perfectly right choice. In fact, you got the points. Combi melta on the Sister Superior. That way you have 5 melta shots when they roll in for the scout move.
Nice.
That ignore cover.
Yes.
Because that's what you want.
Yeah.
And again, obviously 1500 you can't put the priests in, but the priests are actually worth it now.
Really? That's interesting.
Or the cement, and then the sticks. The cement. I can't speak. The Simlicker.
Yeah. That thing.
Yeah, that thing's worth it.
That
In general,
thing.
good list. Well done, Battle Sister Nina.
And we had a question from Ninja Wolf Hybrid Theory, which was with the new edition of D&D, there are a lot of things that people don't like and a lot of things that people kind of like. Okay, I'm lying on that point. But Ninja Wolf Hybrid Theory wonders, what would we like to put in, cut out of a new edition of D&D?
There's so many things.
That's. Why you gotta ask questions like that? Why you gotta make us think?
He doesn't like to
We
do it
film on
his days
Sundays,
off.
dude. We film on Sundays. They're lucky I put pants on.
We are.
Yeah, it's not pretty.
You're lucky I put pants on.
You are.
All right, hold. You know what? What would I add or remove from D? Just Pathfinder. Just put a different cover on the Pathfinder book.
Yeah, no, Pathfinder is a great version of 3.5. It's well done. I think about this a lot. My problem is either with... I want to say I want to get with a class system, but then I realize that's the thing I like. But I don't like levels. I don't like levels in any game. Level systems are stupid.
Yeah, I agree with you, but if you get rid of the class system and the level system, or one or the other, it's not D&D anymore.
Well, you definitely need the class system, I suppose. I mean, your class, at least, it helps you figure out how you want to put things together. It's like, I want to be the dude with the big shield and a sword. I mean, I'm a fighter, or whatever that is in the system. I want to throw spells, you're a wizard. I mean, the classes make sense, but I don't like level systems. They don't seem natural to me. They don't seem... I don't like them. They get grindy. I'm thinking
Not really.
Video game thing.
They get grindy in, like, video games, sure. But in a game like D&D...
You spend like...
Grinding doesn't... I mean, like, if you're grinding in a D&D game, like, if you're a group of adventurers and you've been tasked with removing the lich or whatever, and you say to everyone, well, let's go mess up some goblins until we're strong enough to do this, then you're playing in a bad D&D game and you need to get out of there.
I think I'm gonna go
get out
level
of
up.
there. Right. Oh. I hate you.
What happened?
Oh, Silverman. Why?
There was this moment when a gentleman who...
He wasn't a gentleman, let's be honest.
Starting to get into role-playing and D&D and all that, in one of his... what we used to have in our games, learning curves. At the end, we, did a little what we learned in this thing and everything. At the end of his, he said, I think I'm going to go level up.
Oh, God, it hurts.
And we're like,
so bad.
what?
Well,
It hurts on the
clearly,
inside.
you need to level up. But, like, I look at games that I really do like and ones I really started with, and they didn't have level systems. They're like, you have XP, you spend XP, and that's fine. Rank systems are like a better version of level systems, I think. Where it's like, once you spend enough XP, you unlock new options afterwards.
At the same time, though, it's the way rank systems work. Considering you have to wait for downtime, like you can't just do it mid.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of nowhere. You have to be resting and whatever. It ends up kind of, at least in my experience, being the same as a level system anyway. Every few games I go, oh wait, I've got experience to spend. And it's the same effect as going every few games I go, oh hey, I gained a level.
You gotta spend out like half the game time picking new skills if you hadn't done that already.
I mean, if you want to talk about making things, I hate to use the word realistic, it should be based on how often you do something.
Yeah, and
Burning Wheel, basically.
Yeah, Burning Wheel did that, right? Where at the end, you roll if you did enough of something. Like, I learned how to stab people.
Right. But that's just, it's. I get where you're going with it, but that's that's a different game.
Right.
It's such that the level system and the class system, I think, are the two things you really can't take away from D&D. Because then it ceases to be D&D.
Okay, I'll accept that. Then another issue. I'm gonna bring up all the issues I can think of. Game balance in the sense of the world with fantasy magic dudes and guys with swords and stabby stuff, and how they kind of balance that.
That's been a difficult thing for a long time. That was one of the major issues with 3.5.
Yeah.
3.5, if you were a wizard up until level 5, you were hiding.
Because you had maybe 1d4 plus whatever health, and usually wasn't enough.
You were nonsense.
You were killed by house cats.
Yeah, and then 5 to 10 you start to be good, and then everything around level 10, between 10 and 15, everyone was fairly balanced, but the fighters started to lag behind until finally level 15 and higher. If you were if you're a fighter, what are you doing? Go home.
Yeah, unless you had Excalibur, and even
with Excalibur, no, even with magic items, the fighter just became useless. You couldn't actually hit things, or you couldn't hurt things, and that was the big problem with 3.5, which was addressed for the most part in Pathfinder. Yes, you occasionally have issues.
Yeah,
but it's slightly better in Pathfinder.
Mm-hmm.
I agree that balancing magic versus physical combat is something that needs to be done. But is enormously difficult to do.
Because you have to figure out what the appropriate ability of certain things are. I mean, if magic's supposed to be really powerful, is it really difficult for people to learn? And then, like, what's a level 1 wizard really? I mean, maybe, like, a level 1 wizard should really suck and only have 1 or 2 spells. But then why would you play that, you know?
Well, I mean, level 1 wizard...
Does kind of suck, but everyone sucks at level 1.
Right, nobody's supposed to be good at level 1.
Yeah.
But... I don't know, I feel like... I don't know. It's a difficult thing to balance because there's so many concepts of how magic works.
Yeah, and they have to pick one is, I think, an issue. And D&D was originally based kind of loosely on the Lord of the Rings stuff, where the magic user was basically, what, a demigod, technically?
Well,
Angel,
in Lord of the Rings, they were sort of like gods given human form or something. I don't know. It was
so
weird.
it's like, clearly, there's no level balance there. Like, that's a level doesn't have one hanging out with a bunch of level 3 hobbits.
But at the same time, the wizards almost never use their magic.
Which is true.
Which
so
is
they
a
self-balance.
Right. Well, that or
that's just the player being nice to everyone else.
I think I don't know if this is a thing in the setting. I didn't finish the Silmarillion. I couldn't. But it's possible that in the Lord of the Rings setting, the wizards they didn't use their magic, not just because they chose not to, but because maybe there was just they couldn't do everything. Maybe they could just affect the universe in certain ways, but magic missile didn't happen. You never saw magic missile.
That kind of, just that one wizard fight in the movie.
That was telekinesis. That was telekinesis and not magic missile.
Not magic missile.
I think it could be both.
No. That was just like advanced mage hand.
Okay, I'll accept it.
That could be.
That's some good use of mage hand.
Yeah. I've seen alternative magic systems that use essentially mana points instead of the Vancian spells per day thing.
Yeah. I don't think there's a problem with spells per day. I think that's fine.
It is and it isn't.
Yeah.
I don't like either one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very different.
What if
basically making the best way to do it is just have magic not be inherently combative, except in certain for certain, like maybe a handful of spells do damage, but then everything else would be more utilitarian. That would be one way to balance magic.
I just had a thought. What about casting time? What if
that's already a thing.
Yeah, but
it's just most groups ignore it.
Yeah, but what if you really just focus more on that instead of spells per day or mana? It's spells take time to do. You gotta do your whole mystic mumble jumble hand movements.
Thing. It's just
throw your rabbit's foot at the dude, and then it happens. And the advantage the fighter or the regular person has is they don't have to deal with that crap. They can just run up and stab you.
Well, yeah, that's something that's already in.
It's just that a lot of people.
But you can make it more of a thing. Like this spell, you can do it while running around and avoiding people, but it takes you 3 turns to cast it, and it makes a fireball. Make casting
make
time.
Fireball be a multiple turn thing.
Yeah, make just magic in general a multiple turn thing. That could balance it.
I think people would not play wizards in that case.
Yeah.
I think you'd never see a wizard.
Possibly. You just have to make it a fair thing. Obviously, standing and not being able to move and do it is going to suck. But let them prepare it over 3 turns. Active battle system in the old Final Fantasy games where everyone had a bar that was filling up, and then the ability takes time to do. You hit the button and it's 3 turns you do your cool thing. Well, the other guy can hit faster because he's got a sword and he doesn't have to wait as long. I don't know. Maybe that could do something. Maybe
it's not a bad idea, but I feel like it would cause. I think that would be too heavily in the other direction.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It also
because then you have to deal with then the fighter killing the target before the magic can cast the spell, and then the wizard's going, well, then what's the point of me casting my spells? I never have time to cast them.
Yeah, and also you could have the problem with if you have a group that's not paying attention. It's how many turns ago did I start casting that?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Well, anybody who can't keep track of 3 turns shouldn't be playing wizard anyway.
One thing that I think that I would change, at least going off of the current edition and using that to build a new edition, is how streamlined everything is. Because it's gotten to the point where saying your class is just window dressing.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was saying,
we've definitely talked about
we
this
discussed
before.
this before. It's become super homogenized. Everything feels the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would definitely change, because like 3.5 had its problems, but when you were playing a fighter, you felt different
like
from playing the rogue. You know,
Exactly.
The whole once a day thing, day power things, that was okay, but they needed to change
that
it.
was the culprit for the homogenization.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made everyone have the same way of working. I mean, a system that breaks down differently would be nice. Even like something really weird, but like fighters are very dice dependent, and maybe mages use cards or something crazy like that.
Well, like,
I don't know.
The at will encounter and per day power thing works really well for a magic user.
Yeah.
But for like a fighter, it's just
Why can I only lunge at someone once a day?
right.
Yeah.
Like why can't I do an X cross /
Every time.
fight every turn because I still have arms to do this.
Basically, fighters should work on something like a stamina system. Mages should work on either some kind of
I think the
ultimate
once per
system.
day, once a will thing would
again,
work
that
for
is
a mage
classic.
system.
It's classic of D&D, and I think it does work. I mean, making it something else for balance is another issue, but once per day, once per encounter stuff, it's fine
I think
for
that's
mages.
worked for a mage. They just need to do something else for the other classes.
Yeah.
And let's see, is there anything else that I can't really think of anything else where I sat there and I was like, oh, I wish this was different.
Yeah. I don't like splat books, but that's all of us.
Well,
Can we
splat
ignore
splat books are going to happen no matter what you do.
Yeah.
Splat books happen for every, well, not every, but like Pathfinder has them. Is that your phone?
I wondered what that sound was.
There we go. Sorry.
Pathfinder has them, D&D has them. Most major role-playing game franchises are going to have them.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It makes
It's
money.
they have
It's how
to they
it's the
have
business
to
model.
fund they
Yeah.
have to fund the company.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Magic where you're gonna be buying new cards all the time.
Oh, I know.
It's not like video games.
You buy the video
You
game
can
and
get
that's it.
well, you buy the video game and that's it, and then maybe there's DLC,
Well, I think maybe what I'm
which I'm
saying
sick of
is-
DLC as well. But it's just like you need the flat books to keep the company going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe my issue is more of like, I mean, I don't know if this happened with 4.0, but I know with 3.5 there's a little bit of power creep with things. It's like, why would you play anything in the original book? Because
Oh yeah, the moment
in the other book.
there was a book that came out towards the end of 3.5's lifespan. I can't remember the name of it.
Was it the Arcane Fighter book or whatever?
Yeah, it was
Complete-
the book of
Complete something.
no, it was the book of 9 swords.
Yeah,
or
Book
something.
of Nine Swords.
And it basically offered alternative classes for people who wanted to be fightery kind
Yeah.
of people. And yet one of them was basically a sorcerer fighter where like your sword caught fire because you wanted it to. But one of them was it was like the Warblade or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were just an unstoppable just kill machine. And you became like one character would become like a party of fighters.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I loved playing that class. It was great. But then once that book came out, you had literally no reason to be a fighter ever again.
Yeah.
It completely nullified the need to be a regular fighter. And actually kind of did the same thing to the barbarian and the paladin.
And they said, because those three are like the classics.
Right, those three are very
Even though I will never
core.
play Barbarian, ever.
I've played a barbarian recently, but he was a barbarian sorcerer dragon disciple. He
Okay.
had one
I
level
hate
of
you.
sorcerer. Oh, the dragon disciple gets D12 health. Hit dice,
Yeah.
man. It's crazy.
Oh, I understand why.
In any case, tangent. So that's part of the problem with splat books is that
Yeah.
they come out with new classes, and it makes previous classes
Useless.
obsolete. Pathfinder did find a way to solve that though.
Yeah.
In each splat book, or maybe not all of them, but in splat books they'll come out with new classes, but then they'll come out with
Modifications or additions to other ones.
right. They'll come out with I don't remember the word for it, but it's basically alternative options for the barbarian. So if you wanted to be barbarian, you could be a regular barbarian, but then you could also be an invulnerable rager or something, where you give up your trap sense and some other thing, and you start getting damage reduction instead.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh wait, I can also just make this class feel new and keep up with these new classes.
Yeah, I get to do something good with the class that I liked playing. I remember one thing I do want to change. I don't like fighters being tanks. I don't know why, but like a fighter should. I don't know.
A fighter should be able to be a tank, but a fighter should also be able to be fast.
I think maybe that's my problem with it. Fighter is a very broad term.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can. That's the problem with the fighter is that I think that's less on the game though, and more on the player's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've played fighters that were not at all tanky.
Yeah,
I played.
Rapier, the Master Fencer.
I was thinking about my bow fighter.
Yeah, the bow fighter.
The archer. You didn't play with him, but he was great. But yeah, Rapier, Master Fencer was his ex-fighter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they should have that versatility, and in a sense they do, but people ignore it.
Yeah. And so we actually got one more question.
Okay.
From Orabu, I believe that's how you pronounce the name, and they asked, how did we all meet and how did we get into wargaming?
Well, we all met due to mistakes
That were made.
we got into wargaming due to other different mistakes.
Pretty much.
For me, basically, it was I met these guys through my roommate because my roommate was friends with him and he was friends with him.
I went to high school with his roommate.
Yep. And that's how I met him, and then I met him through him, even though we knew each other before that because we went to a class together, but we never talked to each other, but we knew each other.
Yeah.
And
we had a class together, in which case he did a presentation about 40K in the class.
Which was hilarious because like a year later, I saw his backpack and went, "You are in my primitive world history," and he went, "You did the 40K demo," and we're like, "Holy crap!"
My backpack at the time had a Revenge of the Jedi
patch, and then you finally one day you put it on the table at a game, and I saw it, and that's what I remembered.
Yeah.
And you and I met in the game room at some point. I think we played Yu-Gi-Oh!
Probably.
That might have been our first encounter.
It probably.
And then we had Japanese.
It was a random encounter.
And then we had Japanese together.
Yeah.
Did we have Japanese together for the first semester?
Yeah, we did.
Just didn't like know each other.
Yeah, I didn't know like any of you guys.
Yeah, I met you. I think I essentially met you through Austin.
I met you. Yeah, because I met everyone through Ron.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I met everyone through Ron because I met everyone through Mike.
I'm less sorry.
No, yeah, because I really didn't go to the same college as them. I transferred into it.
You did briefly.
You did?
Yeah, I know, but I've transferred into your college.
Yeah.
Right, but you still went to the same college.
But originally I didn't go there. I transferred, I didn't know anybody. One day I was walking around my second semester there, and I saw a friend of mine who was a year younger than me, and that was her freshman year, it was her first year. And she's like, "Hey, haven't seen you in a while." Like, we hung out, and we started playing Uno in the basement.
Yep.
In, like, the game room.
Yeah, there was a game room in the basement
school.
of the student center.
And there were these idiots having, like, nerdy conversations at the table over. And after a while, I couldn't stop ignoring them and I had to comment on what they were saying.
What were they saying?
I don't even remember.
Oh.
I was just disagreeing, and it was Joe, Ron, and Daltz.
Oh God!
And
that's a very easy trio to disagree with.
Yeah, it was good. We used to get to talking, and then Daltz started playing Uno with us, and then we started all hanging out, and then like Ron's like, "There's a gaming club here," and I'm like, "I'll show up to that, I guess."
And then we started role playing, D&Ding.
Like these two idiots
kept making more and more mistakes.
And we met James because James and Ron went to high school together.
Yes, we met James. Well, we met James because James and Ron went to high school together, and there was a summer role-playing session that Ron was running, and it was held at James's house. It was a vampire game. Yeah. And we met James there, and I remember the first time I saw him.
And then I went to that school that James went to after that. I was transferring.
The first time I saw him, I was like, this is like Marilyn Manson and Michael Jackson had a baby. He's going to see that. He's going to be mad. I don't know. It's just like that was the first impression I got out of him. But
he was really pale, and his hair was like down to here at the time.
And he was wearing the black leather trench coats all the time.
Yeah, he was. But, and then...
He still has them. He still wears them.
How did we introduce you to James, though?
Through a vampire game or something like that.
Probably.
I think it was through the Trinity game. That's where I think I met him.
Oh, the
Arizona. I forget the name.
Ron's
Vanguard.
I think that's when I started officially. I think I met him once or twice through like going to movies and such, but I didn't really start hanging out with him until Vanguard. That was when I started really chilling with them on.
Ron ran a really not so great space game called Vanguard Harriers. That was. It could have been so good. And then he screwed it up.
2 games were good, and then it got Dark Tower on us.
Like all those games.
And to answer this part, how did I get into Warhammer 40K? Well, back in my first year in high school, way back, I was hanging out with a friend in my science class, and I was really into the Star Wars collectible card game. I didn't play the game, I just collected the cards because I couldn't find anyone to teach me how to play the
that
card
game wasn't good. It wasn't good. I don't care what you say. The Star Wars card game back in the day, not a good game.
So
Except locations were cool.
I was playing it, I was opening up the book, and I turned to my friend and I go, if you collected Star Wars collectible card game, we'd have something to talk about. And he went, oh yeah, well if you played Warhammer 40,000, then we'd have something to talk about. And I was like, what's Warhammer 40,000? Then he pulled out his Eldar Codex, and that's where it started.
I got into 40K. Okay, so there was this guy Bob at when we were in college, and we don't want to talk about Bob, but he tried to get me into 40K years and years ago.
Because at that point I was the only one who played.
Right. So you and Bob were trying to get people to play. Bob made a concerted effort in that he tried to teach me how to play. However, in the game in which he tried to teach me how to play, it was a whole bunch of unpainted models, and he didn't really actually teach me how to play. Instead, he just steamrolled me.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that wasn't fun, and I still don't know what's going on. I'm never going to play this again. So I ignored it for years and years and years. And then after the four of us had all become friends, we were sitting around in James's basement waiting for something. I don't know what we weren't really doing anything. We were just kind of hanging out. Maybe we were taking a break from a game or something. And I see the Black Templar's Codex. And I think I was just like thumbing through it. And I was like, oh, the art's pretty cool. And then you guys started telling me about the Emperor's Champion. And I thought that was the hypest thing. Just like the concept for it. And then my birthday that year, you guys got me the Emperor's Champion model. And I was like, well, now I gotta paint this thing. And I painted it, and I was like, well, now he needs friends. Now I'm here.
And
how about you?
With one thing with that is in college I did stop playing 40K for a while because no one was playing everything. I didn't like the the rulings was starting to get changed, so I got rid of everything, and I went down to my local gaming store for a while because I was playing War Machine, and then this guy and the Wildcard walk in, and I was like, what are you two doing here? And they're like, we play 40K now. I was like, and nobody told me.
Yeah, I think you got a little butthurt.
And so, I was like, oh damn it, now I have to buy everything again. So I bought everything again.
The wild card is my reason for playing 40K.
Is he?
We were roommates. He started getting into it. I mean, I knew about the game in high school. Again, a friend of mine pulled out the Space Marine code. Was like, here, this is an awesome dude with a raven on his shoulder riding a motorcycle. I'm down with that. Because 14-year-old me is down with ravens on motorcycles.
How old are you now?
I'm still down with that.
Yeah,
that's like saying you are.
Except now it's become jetpacks over motorcycles. Just saying.
Okay.
But always been there. And lightning claws. It's just that Wolverine fetish. Anyone with claws on their hands? Yeah. Win. But I never really got into it because, like, back in the day, it's like, money, and I played role playing games. But in college, we were roommates, and he's finally like, you know what? We were both playing Winter Assault, which is the expansion to Dawn of War, or Dawn of War 2. And I'm like, this is really awesome. I like the world. I like the world of it. And he's like, I'm gonna start painting some models. I'm like, okay. So he started painting some Ultramarines, and I'm like, that's pretty cool. I'll look into this. And then I started trying to find a faction that I liked, and I found the Inquisition. And I still love the Inquisition. I play Sisters because I love the Inquisition. I've come to love the Sisters, but I still like rolling Inquisitors. That's my secret.
And there you have it. And so I think that's about good time to stop it now. We've answered some questions. We've shared a little of our time with you guys, celebrating our 2 years.
Yeah, thank you for watching for 2 years.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll be around another year.
Yes, and expect more great and wonderful things coming out this way.
Great and wonderful are mispronunciations of awful and terrifying.
Yes.
Which also equals awesome, which is a synonym.
Like he said, we wish to thank you all for continuing to watch us and to continuing to support us.
Tell your friends, tell your family.
Yes. And if you haven't yet, subscribe,
it's
like
somewhere
us,
down there.
Somewhere by my knee.
Check out on our Facebook page.
It used to be up there, but it's not anymore.
It's now down here, and then
subscribe
over here. It's crazy. Yeah, because some videos it's weird because I'm doing this when it's down here.
Oh, you know what?
YouTube.
I have this problem with YouTube right now. Since like the last update of it, I don't have like there was like the small window, then the medium window, and the large window. My favorite was the medium window. I don't get that anymore.
Yeah.
Am I just like, is it not work on Firefox? Am I dumb?
I have no
I
idea.
have no idea. I always just leave the window as it always was.
Yeah.
The tiny window's not big enough.
And so that is pretty much it. So if you haven't yet, check out our Facebook, the way you say crazy photos, random news of the day, stuff like that. And that is all. So until next time, fearless gamers, take care.